Hello, everybody. This is Mike from the Hey, Are You Still There podcast. My wife Beth and I would like to invite you to join us each week as we examine life at the intersection of marriage, family, careers, and ministry. Through 28 years of ministry, 26 years of marriage, 23 years of professional careers, and 21 years of being parents to 3 kids, our fun and honest discussions promise to have something for everyone. And now, on to the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hey, Are You Still There podcast. This is Mike.
And Beth.
Beth, have you done your Wordle today?
Yes, I did.
Did you do your connections?
I did. I did not do as well as you did.
That's right. So tell the audience that. Who beat you in Wordle today?
Well,
Who beat you in Wordle today?
you did.
Who beat you in connections today?
You did.
Thank you. I'm going to retire.
Yep, you might as well go out on top.
Ross
Just be
and I
done.
played a little board game arena today, and I finished first in every one of those games too.
Okay,
Today is my day.
I was going to say, we have those days, when
Yes.
it's like, I need to just keep playing
Yep.
because, and I should go, well, we've even said I should go to Vegas because one night I had one of those nights and it was like anything I touched, I won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And Ross usually never loses
Right.
in the afternoon when we play. And
Because he's gotten woken up sufficiently by
he
then.
peaks between 1 and 5. And that's his prime time.
Okay, so for most people, it's like we're 8 a.m. to noon. You're gonna get your best work with him 1 to 5.
1 to
p.m.
5. He's
That's his
man,
best.
The 4-hour workday. Ross crushes it.
But yeah, you did really. I mean, we can't tell anybody. Well, I guess it would be so late now. It wouldn't matter if you told anybody what the Wordle is because it won't be the same word.
Yeah.
It's not like anybody's gonna hear it today. But yeah.
Yeah. So you've been doing Wordle for a while.
A long time. I was one of the original Wordle people. Now,
How do you know? What does that even mean?
well, what I mean is a guy invented Wordle before the New York Times purchased it. So
Correct.
what I mean is I was one of the people that played Wordle before he sold it to New York Times. But, I don't want to say I didn't play every day. I played a lot, but I don't know that I played every day. And I didn't share my results because there for a while, there would be people who would like go on Facebook or other social media and they would literally share their results every single day.
I always hated those people.
Of course you did.
I wanted to do one of those things where I'm marked safe from your Wordle.
Well, I didn't do that. So back then, I don't know that I even shared it. With
You would
anybody.
share it with me. You'd roll over in bed and be like, look, I just got Wordle in 2.
Yeah, well, every once in a while, because that's which I have to say, though, if you ever got Wordle on 1, well, that's just luck. And sometimes, even if you get it on 2, it just has to do with having a really good starter word for that day's Wordle. I mean, because
I got mine in 2 yesterday.
I know, you're on a roll.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I've done Wordle for a while, but then I stopped. And and then I got some other games. Do you want me to kind of tell what happened, or do you want to talk about how I got into these games and then got you into these games?
I mean, if you want, go ahead.
Yeah, so I've been playing Wordle for a little bit, but then one of the times when I was visiting Maria and her friends at Disney, we also had gone to Universal, and we were standing in line for E.T., and it was a super long line. And I saw her friend Riley playing something. I'm like, what are you playing? And she's like, tiles. And I was like, well, what's tiles? And she started to show me, and it was a New York Times game. And that's one I don't think you guys, when I say you, Ross, my mom, none of y'all play that one yet. But it's patterns, and you're looking at the patterns, and you're trying to match the patterns and not make any mistakes. So while we were standing in line, we started doing that. Well, then that got me back. I looked and I was like, oh, Wordle, I forgot about liking that. And then she showed me connections, and I really liked that. So I kind of got hooked again. And one of the last times I was down there, I told Riley and Maria, I said, we need to start a group text, and we need to be checking in with each other to see if we've done our Wordle and our connections and how we're doing. And there's also a mini crossword. And so we started this little text thing. Well, after that, after checking in and doing that, I mentioned it to my mom. And the next thing I know, my mom is also playing Wordle and connections and sending it to me. And then most recently, I taught talked to you about it, and then you and I talked to Ross, and Ross is now playing these New York Times games. I think part of the appeal, and in some ways this is bad, but like there's so many things that if you don't subscribe, I'm going to talk about this if you don't subscribe, but there's so many things you can just binge watch TV. You could binge a puzzle and just keep doing the puzzles. But if you don't subscribe to these, it's once a day. You know, it's a Wordle. Everybody's doing the same Wordle. Everybody's doing it one time a day.
So if you subscribe, you get more Wordles?
I think if you subscribe, you can go back. Because you know how when you're in the app, it'll be like previous days. And you can, and it'll have I think you can go back. Maybe, I don't know for sure. But I'm guessing if you subscribe, you get maybe some more stuff or something. But anyway, but I just say all that to say, I think it's kind of cool because you and everybody else in the world is doing that exact same puzzle.
You know who else Ross and I found out does Wordle? Chit.
Who's that?
Chit. He's the hottest thing on the internet right now.
Oh no! That's that thing you showed me, right? That
guy. He works
yes.
at Chit. He works in an office.
Yeah.
With Sam.
Yeah.
Janice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't really watched these, so I'm not on that bandwagon yet. That's why I had to stop for a minute. I thought this was a real person we knew.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, listeners, go look up Chit. I'll watch him on the Instagram. I think he's also on YouTube. Whatever. It's out of Groundlings, which is the LA famous improv company. But it is a very funny little 2 or 3 minute sketch video thing they do about this guy named Chit. But Ross pointed out to me in one of the videos, Chit's talking, and on his computer is Wordle.
Well, I did not know that. Well, I think the thing that I've loved about it is it's just another one of those things that helps you feel connected and stay connected to people, you know, because sometimes like...
You know what Chit would say?
What?
Do it, lady.
Oh, gosh, okay.
Do it, lady.
Yeah.
Do it, lady.
Okay, and Mike's wiggling his fingers.
Do it, lady.
I don't... What am I doing?
It's your birthday.
Okay,
do it, lady.
He's making me wiggle my fingers at him. I don't know. I'll have to go watch this
You
so
have to go
better
watch
understand
it.
it. Yeah. But I like...
Got her.
What?
Go ahead.
You are like, oh my gosh. Anyway, I was just saying, I like the way it's like connected. It just gives you something in addition to like, I don't know, whatever else, just to like stay in contact with people and to kind of share. And then you can talk about if the word was hard or what you struggled with or whatever. And it's just a way it just.
See, I don't believe a word you're saying right now.
Why? You just think it's about me being competitive?
Yes.
It partly is.
I don't think there's any part of you that's like, let's just discuss, wasn't that a hard word? Like, I can see you doing that if you tie with somebody. But you share, especially with Ross and I, because you want to beat Ross and I.
Well, have you seen one time I did the mini crossword in like just over a minute?
You know what? I know I can't beat you in a mini crossword, so I don't even do it.
And that's why you don't do it.
I don't do it.
And then the other thing...
You stole my joy by always beating me.
And the other thing I told my mom that you did to me the other night is you insisted that I cheated. Was it on the mini crossword? Was it when I did?
The mini crossword.
There was one of those that I did, and you were like, "Oh, you had to cheat." I'm like, I don't even know how I would cheat.
Oh, it was a Wordle. It was a very hard word.
Yeah, like how am I going to cheat?
And I got it on like
at a
6,
Wordle?
and all of a sudden you got it on 5, and I'm like, how did you get that word even on 5?
So I
think the word was like dizzy or something crazy.
I don't like it when there's 2 of the same letter. I've disclosed this because then, you know, it kind of ruins your chances. Like, you know, or like if you have a letter and you get it right, like let's say it was dizzy and I had Z in the 4th space. I might not think to put Z also in the 3rd space because I would be like, oh, well, I've already used Z. So I think it's hard when they have 2 of the same.
Yeah, and if you noticed yesterday, I was quick to point out I got Wordle in 2, but I never submitted my connections results to you 2 because you both beat me in connections. So I didn't figure there was any point in sharing that. But
Part
today,
of the sharing is not helpful if you're doing that. If we're self-selecting and only sharing, I shared when I did poorly.
I got connections perfect today, and I got Wordle in 2. That's about the best day I've ever had on that. So I was quick to point out both of those to you and Ross.
Oh, yeah. It was like first thing this morning. I'm like, I barely had my coffee. And, you know, you've already like done the games and pointed out how well you've done.
That's right. Do it, lady.
Yeah. And my mom was very upset with you because she got the same day that you got Wordle on the second try, she sent it to you. And she said, Mike never responded. She was like, he didn't even give me a thumbs up. And I was like,
I don't ever remember seeing that come through to your mom.
Maybe she maybe she thinks she sent it and she didn't.
Maybe she sent it to some other
But I told her that you were probably jealous because that was also the day that you got it on the second try. So you thought it like stole your thunder.
I may have thought she meant to send it to you or something.
Oh.
Because why would she send it to me?
Because she wanted you to see how smart she was.
Listen, I know how smart Shirley is. She raised you.
Good one.
There you go. I'd kiss up to both of you.
That's right. Good job.
Yeah. So I think it's a healthy competition. It helps your brain. I like to think Wordle makes you smarter because it makes you think a little bit. And connection's the same thing. It makes you dig deep. Because I was just telling you this week, we were talking. I was listening to a podcast about memory, and there's a thing now called Google Brain. People today have less memory than they had years ago because of Google, they believe. This has been scientifically studied. And because when you think about something, you don't have to recall it.
You just Google it.
All I have to do is Google it.
And you do it with like everything, like a recipe, directions, but we mentioned this though, but there's also things we had to remember, like your phone number. And you would have to, not just your phone number, your friend's phone numbers. There wasn't a like, hey, tell your phone to call this person's name and you don't know their number. You had to like memorize phone numbers.
Gun to my head, I could not tell you Jacob or Joshua's phone number.
Right.
Isn't that scary?
It is. I don't think I could. I might know Jacob's.
And the only reason I know Maria's is because it's your old number. It
used to be my number.
So I don't know your number. I know your work number, but I don't know your personal number.
And you know what? I used to have to keep looking up that number. To your point, because again, I wasn't telling it to people a lot. I would just share my contact. So I'm not even repeating it all the time to tell you, oh, this is my phone number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a business card that's digital. So all I have to do is tap it on somebody's phone and it automatically goes to their phone.
Right.
It doesn't even have my information on there. I can't even say, right here's my phone number, write it down.
Which, speaking of, super quick, as an aside, that made me think about, I had to go into work to get my phone updated, my cell phone, and we have a phone services because we have so many people, and they have this shelf, and it has all of these old pagers and phones. And one of the new chairs, one of the new doctors in our that I had literally just met the day before virtually, he walked in to have his phone worked on, and we both just stood there, and we were going down memory lane, and he was like, he picked up the BlackBerry, and then I picked up the Palm Pilot. And I was like, I thought that this was the greatest invention ever. But the Palm Pilot wasn't, the original one didn't even automatically update your calendar. You had to plug it in and sync it.
Yeah, you had to sync those things.
But for me, I had this big address book, this big calendar that I would have to carry around. So to have it truly in my palm, and he was like, remember writing the little letters? And I'd almost forgotten that. You would use like a little stylus and write the letters if you didn't add it from your computer. But again, you think about those things. I guess that was the start of not having to remember as
you
much.
were ahead of the curve on that. You had a Palm Pilot long before I ever had any kind of smart device.
Oh, I've always been a person. I'm not super great with technology, but I like it. And so the Palm, and especially things like that I feel like allow me to keep information at my fingertips. And so I think, because I had it when I clerked for the judge, and so that would have been 2001 or something, I think, when I had the Palm Pilot. Yeah.
Yeah, I think my first smartphone was an iPhone 3.
Wow, that's kind of crazy to think.
Still have it.
Well, the other thing that's also crazy is I remember when they came out with the iPad, I never surprise you because you're the gift giver. I'm never able to surprise you. And I'd heard about this thing called an iPad, and you had your friend, wasn't it Chaz? Wasn't that
Somebody,
who? Yeah, I think, and he knew a lot about things. And I remember being like, now what does one do with this iPad? I couldn't even fathom, at that time, and I know it's hard for people to go back and understand that I couldn't comprehend that, but I was just like, will he use it? Why is he going to need this iPad? But I got you, a first generation iPad. And now you look and people watch TV on their iPad. They use their iPad like a notebook. They use it like a mini computer. They do all sorts of things. They can draw on it. But like then I remember I was like, what would you do with this? Just like when I first got an email address, I remember I was like, who am I going to email? I don't know anybody else that has email. You know, it was just these things that when they came out, you were like, what will I do with this?
You had Facebook way before me?
I did because
you had the EDU.
I had an EDU address.
Yeah.
So I had Facebook technically when only other students had Facebook. Yeah.
Because you worked at a college.
Yeah.
Not because you're that young.
Yeah. But anyway, to your point, the Google brain. Sorry. So you think we've got the Google brain because we can just look up everything.
So I like Wordle and connections because I think it keeps your brain a little sharp. And then when you can sprinkle in competition, that's fun too. So me, you, and Ross have a healthy competition in everything we do. So that's fun. So we're getting smarter and we're competing.
Well, even playing games though, or like figuring out the percentage of stuff. We don't even do that anymore. We pull out our phone with a calculator.
I still do that. I can do percentages in my head all day long.
So you're staying sharp? Yeah.
I'm trying.
Yeah. But I think you're right. I think it keeps you sharp. I think it keeps you, again, anytime you're doing something that's a little outside of your comfort zone, because I was talking to my friend Ann from high school the other night, and we were talking about, we've done our job so long. I mean, there's still parts that are challenging. I don't want to make it sound like it's easy, but we truly are to that point where it's kind of routine. Like, yes, some of the laws change, but my brain is adapted to the laws that I study and the laws that I work with, so that even as those laws change, I know so much about the body of law and how it's changed over time that I can adapt to that in my head and advise on it. And so that's not the kind of thing that's necessarily put me outside of my comfort zone. But like we talked about when we went to on this trip, and that they can listen to the podcast about like Vienna and Krakow, but like navigating the train system, you know, that challenged my brain in a different way. Probably because even when I'm at home, if I go anywhere different, I just use Google Maps in the car and I don't even look at how any roads connect, you know, but like, so doing things outside of our comfort zone. And so I think new games and stuff help us do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Staying sharp.
That's what we're trying to do.
All right. We are recording this on Thursday night. And we'll explain why here in just a minute, because Beth's about to leave me again. But this has been a rough week for celebrities, Beth.
I know.
There's been a lot of celebrities that have died. Like culture icons of the 80s. We lost Malcolm Jamal Warner, who played Theo on The Cosby Show. He drowned.
So sad.
It is sad. And then we lost Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
Who we probably lost many years ago, but somehow I don't even know how that man was still alive.
Well, that's what Josh and I talked about. When you've had hard living like that, and not just probably some drugs, but drugs and alcohol and everything together, and you've lived that hard.
Well, remember that show? We used to watch it, the Osbournes?
Yes.
With him and Sharon and the kids. Even on that show, you're like, how is this guy even functioning?
Yeah. I mean, I just don't know
and
how.
That show has to be 20 years old.
Well, and that's what Josh and I were talking about. We were like, that just shows too. I mean, of course, you've got to do the best with what you have, but some things, I guess, are just genetics and luck and life circumstance, you know, because like there's no.
He was like 80, wasn't he? I think he was old.
And so you can have somebody like that, though, who look at the damage. You know, you have somebody else who's like, okay, I have cirrhosis of the liver, and I'm not, but you know, maybe they had a few drinks a day or whatever, and that did it. Or, well, no, I'm not saying, no, I shouldn't even say, no, I'm saying, but they're like, well, I'm just saying, but like
a couple of drinks a year.
Yeah, or whatever.
Yeah.
But you have somebody that doesn't do it as much, and then they, like, their liver just can't take it, you know?
Somebody who smokes their whole life never gets cancer.
But then you have somebody else that's
never smokes.
And they get lung cancer, you know? And so you're just kind of like, how could you be that hard on your body, and then your liver still works, and your kidneys and your brain still works? And I mean, it's crazy.
Well, after Ozzy died, I told Ross, I was like, well, every celebrity right now is on edge because celebrities
threes?
die in threes. And Ross had never heard that.
Oh.
And
Because Ross lives under a rock? Why has Ross never heard that?
well, Ross isn't really into pop culture.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
So
But he does like Evanescence, Josh
we
said.
found out, yeah, he has a big evidence.
Because a song came on, it was Evanescence, and Josh is like, and I was like, I couldn't tell if it was that chick that took over for Linkin Park. Remember? Yeah. And so when I heard the song, I'm like, wait a minute, is that chick doing a Linkin Park song or is that Evanescence? And he was like, oh, it's Evanescence. And Ross loves Evanescence. And I'm like, he does? Anyway. Yeah.
And for those of you who are brand new listeners and you're like, who is this Ross guy? I guess go back to maybe episode 8. He's like a co-host with us with me one week. But anyway, it's our friend Ross.
Yeah.
So so sure enough today, Josh is on the news.
Yeah.
He texted me when Ozzy died, and he texted me this morning that Hogan had died. Hulk Hogan had died. And I'm like, holy cow, like there it is. That's the third celebrity. He would have like thunk it. And I called Ross. I was like, number 3. He's like, who? I was like, Hulk Hogan. He was stunned.
Do you want to share the really painful story? Because my mom was like, no, wait a minute. Did Mike meet Hulk Hogan? Because she knows you've met so many wrestlers. And Josh was like, Dad once had a piece of his shirt.
Yes. So I considered writing that on the Facebook, writing this story.
Yeah.
I can go back and look at the exact year. I have it saved on my phone, the year and the entire card. But it's the first time WWF, at that time they were WWF, they came to Greensboro for the first time. And me and my cousin Rodney went. And the main event was Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant, which is still considered today one of the biggest matches in WrestleMania history. It's what put wrestling really worldwide. And so, but they redid that match. They did it in Greensboro. And Rodney and I were like second or third row. Well, the Hulkster comes out, rips his shirt off like he always does, throws it into the stands, and there's like 4 or 5 littler kids than me. Rodney and I at the time were probably 6th and 7th graders, something like that. So these look like, 7 or 8 year olds, and they're like tug of warring it. And Rodney's like, get it, get it, get it. And I just reach over and grab and just rip it out of their hands. I don't get the whole thing, but I get kind of like the front quarter of the shirt.
Yeah.
So the arm, you can see part of the Hulkster or whatever the red was that he had written on there and the yellow. And I kept that thing pinned to my wall all the way up until I moved out, I think. I mean, it was like, to me, that was like history. Like that is Hulkster's shirt that he wore to the ring and threw out.
Right.
And now it's gone. Nobody knows what happened to it.
Yeah.
I still say my mom took it down and threw it away or boxed it up in something.
That's the story Josh lives by, is that your mom threw it away because she didn't know what it was.
Same with my George Brett cards, but we won't get into that.
Oh.
But, so that was I got to see Hulk Hogan live for the first time, and he wrestled Andre the Giant, which was really cool.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to actually meet him. I was backstage with him a few times. I had a friend that got me some backstage passes when he worked at a sports radio station. And so I was backstage for some WCW events. And Hulk was kind of this, he wasn't super friendly. I mean, he just wasn't like
a little standoffish.
Yeah, he didn't want to talk. We were peons. Yeah. So he walked past us and didn't even acknowledge. I mean, for all he knew, we were there bringing out more catering or something. Right. There was much friendlier wrestlers like DDP, for example, Diamond Dallas Page, one of the nicest I've ever met.
Which is why you do his yoga.
It is. Ric Flair. Every time I've met him 3 or 4 times. Every time. Super nice. But Hogan wasn't. But, Hogan's weird in that he is a cultural icon.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he kind of like he was one of those first ones I feel like that crossed over out of wrestling into the mainstream. He was in
Rocky 3.
Yeah.
He was in movies. I mean, he's one that...
And now you have that with like John Cena and The Rock and stuff, but that didn't happen back then.
He started it.
Back then, you just did wrestling and
I think if you were going to create like a Mount Rushmore of athletes, he would have to be on there. Like when I think of like worldwide global recognition, you would have Michael Jordan. You'd have Hulk Hogan. You'd have Tiger Woods, and then the fourth, whoever, you know. But everybody knows Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
And so he goes from this like icon of the 80s and 90s, pop culture icon, to then, you know, he had the racist stuff come out. You know, he had the tape of him, the recording of him saying just some nasty, awful stuff.
Yeah.
The fans have never forgiven him.
Yeah.
To the point that he came out at one of the wrestling shows this year and was booed off the stage. Like, literally, like the whole Coliseum was booing him.
Yeah.
And he was just coming out to wave. I mean, he wasn't like he was wrestling. He's 70. He wasn't going to wrestle anymore. But, I mean, and then you start seeing these videos over the last couple of months where I guess about 18 months ago he got saved. And
I didn't know that.
There's like videos of him and his wife getting baptized, and people who are closest to him said for the last 18 months, all his life has been about is reading the Bible and Jesus and worship and all of this stuff.
Did George South send him one of the Bibles he got from like the Goodwill?
You know, George put a picture of him in the Hulkster up today. Aww. I didn't read the story yet that he wrote under it, but he did have a picture of him and Hulk Hogan. But, so, you know, it's like, that's just people, right? Like, you can be the highest of highs.
And then you can
crash.
Bottom.
And it just takes one mistake, you know? And I'm sure you don't say those kind of things.
Yeah, it's not like you just woke up one day and you're like, this was one mistake that was completely out of character.
You get caught in a mistake.
Exactly.
And that flushes away all
everything
the goodwill
that you did,
that you have earned for your entire life.
Yeah.
And then even when you may make good, you know, you made good with Jesus.
A lot of people aren't going to believe it. You made good with your audience and your fans.
I was interested to see what Twitter would say. Yeah. And because X is pretty nasty.
Yeah. That's why, by the way, I don't even go on X because as a sensitive soul, it crushes my spirit. I can't even look there. They are so nasty on X. I can't do it.
Yeah. And so I went to X. I'm like, let's just see what the people are saying. And, you know, it was bad.
Yeah.
It was not good.
Yeah.
It was overwhelmingly negative. Like, you know. Yeah. And I'm like, you know, but it's hard. Sad.
I think that is what's so sad is like just those choices, and you don't know in the time which choice or person you're saying something to or what thing you're doing. You know, sometimes the same thing though happens for the good things that catapult people to greatness. It's both ways. You make choices, but I think part to what you said to think about, because this is what I see doing investigations at work. Like, okay, I might investigate somebody for really awful sexual harassment or embezzling or something like that. They don't just wake up one day and they're just like, okay, I'm going and telling people to have sex with me or I'm going to fire them. You know, like you don't just wake up and you were like this great upstanding person completely committed to your spouse or whatever. And then you're like, today is the day that I'm going to turn, you know, it tends to be what I've seen is this gradual process where people have this like sort of steady decline of like, you make a choice, you do something that maybe goes a little bit against your ethics, you get away with it, you feel a little bolder, you make the second choice and you do it. And I think that's part of the thing now why people maybe don't forgive some of that stuff is they know, you know, you didn't just wake up and do it. But it is also at the same time, I think we've talked about this before, living in this day and age when like somebody could record you though on your worst day, you know, yelling at somebody in traffic, I guess, and you could get canceled. That's kind of scary too, which I know what he did. I'm not comparing. That's not apples to apples. But like we've also seen situations where people's lives are completely, or mistaken identity. Like they get mad, like you have the same name as somebody that's a serial killer and people start giving you death threats or something. You know, the internet's a scary place because of that.
It is.
Yeah.
I love stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
And one of my favorites is Dave Chappelle.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Dave Chappelle because he calls out like just the silliness of culture.
Yeah.
And he has a whole, and he's not even trying to be super funny.
Mm-hmm.
He's just talking about things. And he talks about it's easier for society to forgive you for killing someone, like murdering somebody, than saying something bad about a certain people group.
Yeah.
Whether it's race or sexual orientation, something like that. It's like we can do more damage to our reputation verbally than if we physically harm someone. And
Which
he
isn't
brings
that
this
verse
up.
though in the Bible about the tongue, as the weapon. I mean, it's in Proverbs or whatever, like our words. I mean, even in biblical times, maybe that was part of the wisdom. Like you may do more damage, not just to somebody else, but to yourself with your words than you do with your actions.
Yeah. I mean, 15 years ago, Hulk Hogan could have paralyzed somebody drunk driving.
Right. People would probably forgive him.
People would, if he served his time, so be it. You know what I mean? He would still be celebrated today.
Right. Yeah.
But, he never killed anybody. He wasn't abusive. There's never been any of that.
Right.
He has
terrible
racist things on tape.
Yeah.
And he never got over it.
He never recovered.
We think about earlier this year, last year, I read Michael Richards' autobiography. Mm-hmm. He was Kramer on Seinfeld. Uh-huh. And here was a guy who at one point was considered one of the 4 funniest people on the planet, with the other 3 characters on Seinfeld.
Yeah.
You didn't get any bigger than Kramer.
Right.
Everybody loved Kramer.
Yeah.
And afterwards, he does stand up. He gets heckled. He just snaps, yells a couple of racial things. Mm-hmm. He gets caught on phone camera. Mm-hmm. His career ended.
Yeah.
Like he never did anything ever again. Yeah. And he talks about that in the book. And it's interesting. And he owns it. Yeah. He's like, I can't do anything anymore. Like it's done. And he'll never be forgiven for that. Right. By society.
Yeah.
So the Hulkster's a weird one. But I was, that's 3 big celebrities of my youth, Yeah. Mm-hmm. Everyone watched The Cosby Show. We know how that.
Oh, yeah.
We know how Bill.
And again, that's another one that
Bill deserves all he
Yes.
gets.
Yeah.
So, but, everyone watched The Cosby Show. Everybody knew Ozzy Osbourne, even if you didn't listen to his music.
Which, as an aside, it could be unpopular, but that's what I told Josh. I never liked his music, really. But anyway.
Crazy Train.
Yeah, I just wasn't a fan. That song's okay. I mean, I just didn't like it. But I did wonder, the things he did too, biting the head off something and things, was that for show, or was it he just really high? But anyway, there's the stuff of legend that happened.
And there's all these stories about what did it really happen, did it not? But
as an aside, can I interject one other thing that's crazy about that though? We didn't have cell phones and things to easily record everything in every second. Like today, you'd be able to go back. There'd be some internet super sleuths, who would be frame by frame looking at everything and saying, did you see how his eyes looked to the side? That's probably because he was, thinking about doing something. Today you would have it, but we didn't have that when those things, we just heard the rumors. Did you hear what he did? And you never knew what was true or what wasn't. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we lost Theo Huxtable, Ozzy Osbourne, and now Hulk Hogan. Yeah. Has there ever, you're not big into celebrity. I know you were picking on Ross for not knowing,
I'm not good at celebrity stuff.
You're not, you don't really.
I don't care.
You're not starstruck.
No.
And so
never have been.
Has there ever been a celebrity of any type that when they died, you were just like, oh, that one hurt?
Well, I mean, I guess I always think about it not so much of when they died, but people I would definitely want to meet. And there's C.S. Lewis. I'm so again, I'm kind of I know, you're just making a face. But I mean, as far as
man, I wish I could have met that Jesus guy.
Yeah. But
wonder what he's up to now.
Exactly. But no, as far as pop culture and stuff, I mean, there's been artists I like and things, but I think for me, it's always been that, like, they are people, you know? And I think that's one of the reasons I don't want to, I don't want to make it sound like I wouldn't get nervous. Like if some major celebrity came in, and I would be nervous, yes. But in the end, I think I'm like, you're a person. You just happen to be talented in a different way, choose a different career. You just happen to like get, you know, stardom. So to me, I mean, most of the time, there's so many things that come out about so many of the celebrities that you're just kind of like, ugh, I'm just better off not knowing that, because I might like who they played on a show or something. I don't need to know that they're a nasty person, you know, in real life, because, you know, it's just going to taint even my childhood memories of watching that show, you know? Mm-hmm. I mean, this isn't the same, but I just remember I loved The Wizard of Oz, and I would watch all that. And then I heard about poor Dorothy, Judy Garland, like how, you know, like how she was treated and stuff. And so then that kind of skews like how I look back at The Wizard of Oz, you know? And so I don't think there's really any celebrities that I'm like, yeah, that just crushes me because they're gone. I just don't. Even though I was like any other kid. I had the TV shows I watched. I had the
But you don't feel like it's like part of your childhood dying?
No. No. I mean, and there's certain things, like my grandma loved Conway Twitty. She thought, so I remember riding in the car, hearing on the radio Conway Twitty had died. And I was like, oh, you know, my grandma would be sad. And it made me think of my grandma and her love for Conway. But, you know, did it make me feel like any piece of me was gone or something? No, not really. So I don't know why. I don't know what that is about me that like is like that. Because I feel like everybody else in our family, you know, Jacob, it would be a lot of sports people like Cam Newton, you know, we're so like, and you've got a lot of people, and Maria.
Who do you think?
Well, I don't know.
Like, have you ever seen me get affected by the loss?
No, but I mean, I feel like you just keep up with it more, and you seem more plugged into pop culture and things than I am.
I did grow up in front of a TV more than you.
Yeah, I was in a book. Maybe that's why I'm all enamored with C.S. Lewis, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, for me, it would be authors, you know? So, yeah. But yeah, I don't know.
Mm.
Speaking of celebrities, were you going to talk about Dusty Slay?
I got it on my notes.
Our
That's
stardom.
actually next.
I was just thinking about like 6 degrees of separation from stardom, and like something we did is practically famous.
Oh, it is. It's more famous than we are right now.
Yes.
So yeah, if you go back and listen to one of the podcasts earlier this year, Beth and I went to Chattanooga, Tennessee, and went to the Netflix taping of Dusty Slay's new comedy stand-up hour, which comes out July 29th on Netflix, called Wet Heat. So we got to go there and watch that live in person, and we took Dusty a gift, and we got a wine bag. He used to work at Western Sizzlin'. He has lots of jokes about Western Sizzlin'. So we went and got a Western Sizzlin' bottle of sauce, wrapped it up put it inside a wine bag, put a little note in there, and with the hopes that maybe the slim chance we might be able to hand it to him in person. We didn't get that chance. We had to pass it on through security, and that was that.
And we didn't hear anything else from it.
Nothing. Right. Yeah. And Dusty is good about. There's been him and I've emailed.
Yeah.
There's been times I've emailed him and he'll email me back. There's been some times I've commented on some of his Twitter stuff. He'll comment back, Instagram. So I'm not saying he even knows who I am, but he is good with like.
He's not one that just is like very aloof and never responds to anyone. Yeah.
So, Dusty put out a video this week, kind of a recap, highlight trailer leading up to this special, and is put to Sweet Home Alabama, because that's where he's born and raised, there in Alabama. And he's showing clips as the song's playing, and the only time it stops with him sitting backstage, and they hand him the wine bag. And he's like, oh, a wine bag. What's in here? And he pulls it out and he says, Western Sizzlin'. And everybody's laughing and he's laughing. And then it goes right back into Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah.
And that was our sauce.
That was our Western sizzling.
Our bag.
And so that's why I'm like, our sauce is famous.
Yeah.
Which kind of implies, I guess, that we made the sauce and all we did was purchase it. But that's probably as close to being featured in anything famous as we'll ever be. So I'm taking that as like, we're famous.
Yeah. And we sat really close.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll be actually on it, if they show some shots from behind of him, looking up to the audience, or maybe they might show you crying, you're laughing so hard.
Yeah. Well, I feel like this is like the story of my life too, because like I did all this writing for a while, and I have a lady who reached out to me, and she's a published author, and she published a book, and she used my writing in her book. But I'm like, I'm not published. And that's the way I feel about this Western sizzling. Like, we're not in the video, but our sauce is. Kind of like, I'm not published in a book. Like, I didn't publish a book, but something I wrote is published in someone else's book, So I feel like I'm like one step away from whatever.
Yeah. Did Oprah ever pay you for that?
Oh, no, she didn't. No, she didn't give me a shout out either. Yeah, but it is going to be in her book club, Mm-hmm. Yeah,
probably will be.
Yeah.
So that was exciting.
But people can see the clip. Didn't you put it on the Hey Are You Still There on Facebook?
Yeah, I put it on the Facebook on the Hey Are You Still There page.
So people can see that. Yeah.
I think you shared it on your personal one. I shared it on my personal one. It was just fun.
It was. It was a nice surprise.
Yeah, I tried calling Beth as soon as I saw it, and she sent me the voicemail.
Because I was with Joshua, and I am trying to have.
You were like, I'm eating dinner. I don't have time to talk to you.
No.
And I said, call me. It's important.
And I did. I called you.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to like do less of having my phone.
I just figured you're in the middle of Wordle and you didn't want to.
No. Goodness. Whatever.
Yeah. So we'll wrap up with this. Because you've got a early day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which means I have an early day tomorrow.
Yes. Thank you.
We have to leave the house at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
For me to take you to the airport.
Yes.
And you're flying out of town for the weekend.
Yes.
With some college girlfriends.
Yes.
I was thinking about it. You're going to be in one state.
Yes.
I'm in one state. Josh is in the same state I'm in, but he's on vacation with your parents.
Yes.
Jacob's in South Carolina. Maria's in Florida.
Yes.
This is another time where literally all 5 of us are going to be in 5 different places.
Which is so weird because even every once in a while I look at Life 360, like when I was in Portland or when we were in Krakow, and it was so strange to see like Maria in Florida and Jacob in South Carolina. And but you're right, but all 5 of us will be separated, which is a really rare, I feel like it's a really rare occurrence because you'll go away, for example, but I'll be with Josh and Maria, or I'll go be with Maria and you'll be with Jacob and Josh. It's just there's usually never been a time that all 5 of us are separate from each other, especially long distances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so you're leaving.
Yeah.
You used to struggle.
Yes.
With.
I know where you're going.
Mother guilt.
Yes.
I'll say parent guilt.
Yes.
About leaving your kids.
Yes.
And there's a lot of young parents we know that feel the same way. Mm-hmm. I just can't leave my kids. I can't leave my spouse. I can't leave our house.
Yeah.
I don't know what they think's going to happen. The world will stop turning. The house will burn down. The kid will forget who they are. Their spouse will cheat on them. I don't know what. They have all these things in their brain that they think, I can't leave because I'm the glue that holds this all together.
It actually wasn't that as much for me.
None of those things?
It wasn't fear as much as it was, there are 2 things for me. One is, I remember the very first time we went away, I'd been on bed rest with Jacob because I had all those complications. I'd been in the hospital for 12 weeks. And then we had Jacob. So if you think about it, literally, not only had I not left an area, I had not left a hospital room for 3 months. And then we had Jacob, and I was kind of confined to home with a newborn, and I could barely walk. So around, was it December? We went to Williamsburg for a few days. That was the first time I was separated from Jacob, and he was very young. And I just remember...
I'm going to have to take your word for this.
You don't... Oh, gosh, I cannot believe you don't remember this. Anyway, that was one of the first times, I started feeling this. I mean, I don't want to, let me go back. I'm not going to say I always have fear and anxiety in the back of my mind around the kids' safety and stuff. So I'm not saying, but that's not the driving force for me. For me, it was, I've always worked also outside of the home. And so I feel like I have, I'm one of the few, I know a lot of people are aware of time, but I feel like I'm acutely aware of time. Almost to an obsessive amount of like, I have 24 hours in a day. And if I'm spending 8 hours a day at work and this many hours commuting, then I have this many hours with my family. And, when people would have you do the exercises, if you go to retreats and stuff, and people are like, are your priorities really your priorities? Where are you spending your time? I truly have tried to live out really investing a lot of time into my family because my family is so important to me. That is a core value. And I would hope people that listen to this and know me well would say, yeah, we know your family, that they are up there. That is a core value. But I think for me, the guilt came in because I would be like, well, if I'm already at work because I have to be at work, then I need to spend literally every breathing second I can with the kids. So that would be part one. Part two that didn't help is I know there are people who aren't acutely aware of the passing of time. So they get caught up in, how they look or what they're doing or their jobs or having fun. And so they may neglect their family because they're like not as aware of that or they're workaholics or whatever. So people will put out things like the 18 years fly by. And they'll tell you, you have X number of hours with your children. You have 18 summers with your kids. You have this. That is meant, I think, to inspire people to live in the moment. That caused immense guilt and anxiety for me because in my head, then I'm calculating, I've got 18 summers. If I take a week and go a week out of the 18 summers that I have and spend it not with my kids, do you see what I'm saying? Like time is such a limited thing for me. And that really got in my head. So like I felt so much guilt about leaving the kids. And I remember when Jacob was when the kids were really young, it was also like, what if they have that milestone? Like when I'm at work, they take their first step or they roll over. As they got a little older, like what if something really great happened at school and like, I'm not here when they're excited to tell me about it. If they're a teenager, what if something bad happens and they wanted to tell me about it and I'm not here to talk to? So I don't think for me, it was like ever that like, because let's face it, I am not a very domestic woman. I mean, I'm not very good at like
breaking news.
I know. So, I mean, I'm not under any illusion that like people are going to starve if I'm not here to cook. In fact, it's the other way around. I think people worried that the kids and I would starve if you weren't here. I'm not under some illusion that like the family unit can't function without me because you're so involved as a parent and we're very blessed to have a village of people like my parents and your parents and then friends that step in. So, I knew despite the anxiety that I always carry, because we've got to give that to the side. We know I always carry some anxiety and fear about everybody's safety and health. But despite that, it's like I knew everybody would be okay. I'm not doing anything special here. For me, it was more about, am I missing out on this opportunity or are my kids, is it going to be seared in their memory? Remember that time that I was 2 months old and my mom went to Williamsburg, which now that we have older kids, we know that they don't remember much of that. Mm-hmm. And in fact, what's happened is when our kids did interesting different things, it was actually really enriching and they got some really cool memories, like with whoever they stayed with when we weren't around. Like they either would get one-on-one time, like if you left, they get one-on-one time with me. If I left, they got one-on-one time with you. If we both left and went somewhere, they got this time with the grandparents.
So when you leave tomorrow morning, since your kids are now older, they're in different places, I hope that what I'm hearing is you are the one I'll miss, Mike.
Oh,
Like,
that
I'll
is.
miss time
Yes.
with you.
Yes, that is it.
Like
yes.
with the passing of all these celebrities this week,
Yes.
it's made me cherish you even more. I thank God you weren't the third celebrity.
It was like you're putting words in my mouth. Thank you. Yes.
I feel like you can't get it. I feel like, honestly, you can't wait to get out of this house.
No, I mean, no, it's not. I'm saying I even still, though, feel a little bit of that, whatever. I just don't know what it is about moms, because you guys don't feel, do y'all feel guilty like when you go away like that? Do you feel like, does this bother you? Does it weigh on you? Are you sitting there like, are the kids going to miss me? Am I going to miss the kids? Are they going to resent me? Are they going to be okay? You know, do y'all do that?
I don't understand a word you just said.
When you,
No, I know. No.
see, that's what I mean. It's just, I don't know. And maybe I'm an outlier. Maybe other
Like-
moms, but I think I've heard other moms talk about it. I think
Yes.
a lot of moms do this.
I don't. It's some kind of mom guilt that you
Yeah.
guys have. It probably comes from society. It might even come from some spouses that are inept at being good husbands and fathers,
And
so
can't like
they
put
can't
their daughter's
function.
hair in a low
Yes.
ponytail like you could from
Exactly.
Maria.
You
Yeah.
know, they don't know. They are like,
They can't change a diaper.
they try to guilt their wives into staying because they don't want to put in the work.
They don't want to step up
There's
and do
probably
the work.
some of them.
Yeah. Mhm.
But I think if it's a healthy marriage and a healthy family dynamic, yeah, you might feel a little, I'm going to miss them. That should be natural.
Yeah.
Yes, when I leave, I miss y'all.
Yeah.
Do I feel guilty? No. Do I feel like there's something I'm going to miss out on? No. Because in my mind, in just the way I just think, there's going to be something else I'm going to get to experience. Like, I may miss out on this, but it's no big deal. Like, we'll do something else. I'll see something else with them. Like, unless you're with that person 24/7, 365 for every year of their life, you're always going to miss out on something.
Right.
And so, and it's not the end of the world. It's okay. Life goes on, you know? Like, our kids couldn't tell you today, probably, like, who was there when I did this? Who was there when I did
Right,
that?
right.
It just happened, you know?
Right, yeah.
And
And
that's,
they knew because we showed up for the majority of it.
yes.
Well,
were there
we
for the
showed up
big
for pretty
things.
much everything.
Yeah.
Really, we did. But, you know, but even if we missed one or two things, it's like, you know, yeah, to your point, or one of us was. If both of us couldn't be, somebody was.
And on the podcast about memories, they were talking about the fact that scientists believe that our memories are not movies like we make them out to be in our head, that they're actually puzzle pieces, and that we remember things in fragments, and then our brain fills in the gaps with our own narrative of what may or may not be correct.
Right.
And so, yeah, I mean, you may have been with the kids when this happened, something good, you
Right.
know, but they only got a fragment of that, a puzzle piece of it.
Right.
And they fill it in with me and you.
Right.
You know? And so in their
Yes.
mind, oh yeah, mom and dad were both there when this happened.
Right.
And I'm like, I wasn't there. You know? Yeah, I think that sometimes we get into that. We're like, I wasn't there, or she wasn't there. Or this, you know, it's because we've taken a fragment of that memory and we've pieced it together as best we can. And so I'm not sure our kids are good kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't feel like, and we traveled a lot. We did a lot, you know,
And I think it modeled like a lot of the things we did. I mean, we went away to do some fun stuff, but we did a lot of service work and mission trips. And I think our kids were proud of that because I went to speak to some of their classes sometimes about the things and they learned about things. And I don't know. I think now with perspective, you know, it's different when you're in it. You know, now if I were talking to somebody, I mean, I'm sure I could tell them all the things they quote should be feeling or shouldn't be feeling, you know, just like people told me that. But all I can speak to is if I were speaking back to young Beth, you know, as a mom, I would be like, you know, lighten up on yourself because you're also modeling. I think I was so fixated on like me being there, like I was going to be my children's whole world. And I would love to be, you know, I would love to be the one that could solve all their problems and stuff. But as we've seen, as our kids have grown, there are things that, and not just our kids, other friends that we have, their kids may come to us about things just like our kids will go to their parents. Kids just aren't always going to go to their own parents. And so
and I think it's about where do you find your value?
Yeah.
Women find their value in families more than men do. Men find their values in their jobs.
A lot of times they do, yeah.
And so I'm just thinking like...
And society does that to you.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what molds and makes us.
Yeah.
And so we'll use our church, for example.
Yeah.
We'll do a women's retreat,
yes.
right? And how many women do you have? And especially it's the younger women in the church that'll say, and I'm saying their kids aren't even infants. Their kids are school age, but younger, they'll say, oh, I can't go away from my family for the weekend.
Right.
Right. Because their value is in their family.
Right.
We'll do a men's retreat.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, dude, why don't you come on this men's retreat? I got to work that week. I can't leave my job. I have to work.
So the reason that holds us back from investing in ourselves or our community or our friendships is, for men oftentimes work, and for women oftentimes family obligations.
This is where I find my value.
Right.
And if I'm not plugged in there, I have no value. And
I think the other thing that's hard though to accept, and this is what I'm struggling with as I'm having adult kids, is I have value. I guess I'm trying to figure out what that looks like with adult kids who may not come to me with everything and who have their own friends. And I think about, I talked to a friend today and she has a younger kid, and she was saying, well, I just want to raise a good human that gives back to society, is a good person and makes good choices. And I think that's what we want. And I think too, I hope we've modeled hey kids, we love you. You're the center of our universe, but you're not the center of the universe, So we also are going to give part of our talents and our gifts to our church and we never, I think there's a difference too. There's some people who use that and then they put all that stuff before their family. I'm not saying you should do that, but I think, you can model having close friendships. You can model doing some things for yourself, and you can model, it's been fun too. Sometimes with the kids, I'll send pictures, I'll see something and it makes them either want to go to the place I've been or have questions. It sparks dialogue because we're experiencing something different. And I don't know, it's important to come back refreshed, because that's the other thing. You were listening to things about your memory. I was listening to things about burnout, caregiver burnout and stuff, so many women caring for children, parents, different, just caring for different, how you get, and it's people start to feel resentful. They start to feel like somebody should thank them. They start to feel like people should notice. And, it's easy to fall into that if you don't take just a little bit of time sometimes to get away and just breathe for a few minutes, it doesn't have to be a big weekend thing, but do you want to go get your toenails painted or, sit at a coffee shop and have a cup of coffee, and quietly just drink your coffee without feeling like you've got to take care of everything else that's happening.
So I guess if I had something to say bluntly to moms and dads that won't get away, that use the excuse of family and jobs. Number one, you're not that important.
Yeah.
Number two, you got to take care of yourself.
Right.
And when you take care of yourself by going away, just detaching for even an overnight,
right,
just to be with the girls, be with the guys, just catch your breath. You come back and you are a better mother. You are a better father. You're a better spouse. You're a better employee or a boss. You're investing in yourself. It's about finding value in yourself, not what you do or who you are to others. And so, it's just.
And I think what we know is it's really important to do, because ultimately, if your kids do become healthy adults, at least as a person who's been in a lot of therapy and read a lot of therapy books, part of that for your kids to become a healthy adult is eventually to pull away from you, and develop their own sense
your
of
kids
self.
Can't wait to pull away from you.
Oh, I know. but as they do those things, that is a healthy thing. But the flip side of that is that's going to leave you. And if you're married or with someone, your spouse, if you're not and you're single, it's still going to leave you. you're going to be left with you, like, and if you have not nurtured any interest, any friendships, anything outside of your kids, that's going to be really hard for you. And also in some ways too, it's not fair to the kids, like I wouldn't want my kids to feel like they had to, now I want my kids to want to be with me. Now, sometimes I will use a little reverse psychology or something to try to make it happen. So, but like, I don't know. I just think it's hard because, and of course what we're talking about too, like if you're a single parent and you're working all the time, I recognize you might not be able to, but we know a lot of people who have the means and have, they have the ability, they could, but they're choosing not to because they talk themselves out of it because maybe it's one of those things you talked about. Maybe it's one of the things I talked about. Maybe they're feeling all that. And so I do think that's the benefit of like, once somebody has kind of made it through some of those parenting stages, talking to them and, being like, well, your kids actually want to have some independence sometimes in safe ways. And your kids sometimes want to have a little bit of, space or see you doing other things and being an interesting person.
Well, I hope you go away and have a nice weekend.
Oh, I hope you have a nice weekend without me and by yourself.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow.
But you like a long time. So to me, that sounds like, if you said that to me, I'd probably go cry. And I'd be like, why are you being so mean to me? I don't want to be by myself. But for you, this is like a good thing.
The week the kids all go back to school, when I'm talking about Jake and Maria, when they go back to college, Josh is back in school, giving myself a birthday trip and just going away for a week.
And just being by yourself.
Just be by myself.
Which is the difference in you and me, because that would be like, solitary confinement they give you in prison as a punishment. That's like, if you wanted to punish me, send me away by myself for a week, But for you, that's like a thing, that I can give you that gift.
Well,
the other thing I will say too, sometimes I will say though, as the parent, it does seem like when you would go away, I never will forget. It was like everything would go wrong. Like one time Maria was like nursing and literally an infant. Jacob was a toddler, and this strip on the top of our roof. Do you remember this? You probably forgot it, but it blew off. And if it was going to rain, it was going to flood our entire house. And I tried to call everybody to do roof repairs. And there was no one that did roof repairs that weren't like industrial until I found this guy Peanut. And his business card was P-Nut, Peanut. And Peanut came and fixed my roof. And the reason I share that story is to say, it sucked. Like there were some of the times when you went away and it was like the wheels fell off, and I'm sitting there like, I can't wait, but it also probably made me appreciate you a little more when you got back too, So you
don't know that before I left, I went up there and pulled that shit off.
You were you were unscrewing the screws and stuff. Like, I'll make sure she knows that I contribute to the family and she misses me. But I mean, I will say, we both know it's not easy,
it's not
just
easy,
like you doing the low ponytail for Maria. Like, Mike, you had to learn to do that, to fix her hair, but none of it's easy, but
you adapt and you move on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you do. So, So I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. I mean, I'll go to the office and work a little bit. Might play a little pickleball with Ross.
Oh.
I don't know about tomorrow night, but Saturday, I hadn't told you this. The one movie all year long I've been just dying to go see comes out tonight.
What is it?
And I got tickets to go see it Saturday.
What is it?
The Fantastic Four.
Oh, well, the only reason I know about the Fantastic Four is Maria said something about it. Again, if Maria doesn't live here, I'm basically like, there are movies that come out. I don't know. But if she's here, it's like I'm seeing a movie every month because I know about all these movies.
So, I'm a huge Marvel guy, comic book guy. I love the Fantastic Four. And the first two movies, I don't know how many they've had now, they were all terrible back in the day. But this one looks unbelievable.
Really good.
And it's gotten really good reviews. And so Timmy and I are going 11 o'clock Saturday morning to go see a little bro date.
Nice.
To go see the Fantastic Four on Saturday.
Romance there, you and Tim.
Yeah.
Which you'll have to go watch Superman 2 and compare it. I don't know anything. We don't do DC comics. We also don't do DC movies generally. I just find them overall kind of bad, the movies. It's just the way they take that franchise and the direction they go with it. But I was reading commentary about how people's reaction to this Superman, who's a softer Superman that cries or something, is about society's view of male masculinity or something. Anyway, it made me now want to watch the movie, not because I even want to see the movie, but because somebody got, hey, you didn't like this movie, and it's because culture and society has like programmed you to think that men can't be masculine if they cry.
I was torn if I wanted to see it or not. Yeah. And because I don't like DC movies,
and how many Supermans can we have? Just like how many Batmans? Goodness gracious.
The only DC movies that were ever any good was those 3 Batman movies with Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Those were
He did a great job. Yeah.
Especially the second one with Heath Ledger. That was the peak.
Yeah.
Other than that, the rest are garbage. Mm-hmm. So I was 50-50 if I wanted to go see it. Then I started reading some of the comments. Mm-hmm. And even though it's made a bunch of money, it's kind of all over the place as far as like it or love it. Yeah. So Maria went and saw it.
Oh, I didn't know this.
And she said it was okay.
Oh, that means it was awful. Maria, I feel like, does not like trash
She doesn't like
movies.
to, being a film student, she doesn't, she's not critical.
Because she'll find something, like, even if the story's terrible, she'd probably be like, well, the cinematography or the lighting or, you know, she'll find the sound effects. I don't know.
Because she went and saw the new Jurassic movie.
Oh, I didn't know she saw that. Did she say how it was?
She said it was awful. She said maybe the worst of all the Jurassic movies.
No.
But she loved it because she said it was so bad. Everybody in the theater was laughing. And she said it was a great atmosphere. They had a great time.
Because it's just fun.
It was just cheesy, funny. Like they were laughing at the movie.
At the movie, how bad it was.
Yeah. And so she said the movie was awful.
So that's not exactly what you're going for, though, with the movie, because...
But again, it made a bunch of money, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But my good friend Jarrett is just a diehard Superman guy. I mean, just more than anybody else I've ever met. And he went and saw it. And I haven't spoken to him yet. I just know on the Facebook, he wrote, "Save your money, don't go." So whatever the movie, whatever happened, Jarrett was not a fan.
Right.
And Jarrett loves Superman.
Wow.
So
that,
I don't know.
Yeah, that kind of speaks volumes. I probably won't watch it. Or it's one that, like, if I watched it, I would watch it on a plane when I'm flying somewhere, you know, and can't find something else. But
you are liking The Bear season 4.
Oh my gosh.
Have you finished? Where are y'all at? Have y'all watched any more?
Josh and I watched one more without you, and it was probably, it's turned around how much I disliked one character, and so that character is actually starting to show some character growth, which I'm appreciating. But Josh and I talked about that show. It's just such a character-driven show, and the character arcs and the growth in the characters, but the way they're also flawed, I don't know, it's just so good. It's just, I mean, I still don't get how anybody could classify it as any form of a, quote, comedy. Yeah. I mean, it has funny part here, but it's way too heavy, and I don't know, I mean, it's interesting, but I wonder if a lot of shows are going to do those super close-ups. If I were the actor or actress and I had that camera that close to my face, I don't know that I would like that.
Well, the very first scene of season 4, I don't know if you remember, it was a flashback of Carmi and Mikey when they're talking about this restaurant idea.
Yes. I remember this vaguely, yeah.
I thought it was a great scene. It was fine. Maria thought, in her exact words, that was the single greatest scene she had ever seen in any television show in her entire life.
What?
That's what she said. She said from a cinematography, from acting, from dialogue, she said it was perfect. Through the eyes of a film student.
I need to go back and look at that, because I remember watching it and thinking, you know, they did a good job. I mean, but I don't remember. I think it would have stayed with me a little more if I felt like it was the single best scene I'd ever seen ever, whatever.
Yeah, The Bear's good.
It is great. It's great. Really good. Yeah.
So I guess I've got one more episode than y'all have to watch.
It just makes me really want to go eat at one of those restaurants now.
I know. That's all you talk about.
I know.
You want to go to a Michelin star restaurant.
Josh and I do. We want to get dressed up and we want to go and save our money. I mean, but here's what's crazy. This is the power, though.
But we ate at a Michelin star restaurant.
But that's not the same.
In Vienna.
No, but I want to eat at one okay, no.
Okay, there's no way we can settle this debate. But our hotel that we stayed at in Vienna had a restaurant. The restaurant was a Michelin star restaurant.
Yes.
We ate breakfast there in the morning.
Yes.
How does that not qualify as
Josh
eating
and I just
at
don't think, because you're not doing the full Michelin star type experience. I mean, yes, we ate at a place. I don't know. It's kind of like, okay, in the Bear, the guy's selling their subs, their sandwiches out of a window. If you eat one of those and he gets a star, are you going to say you ate? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, no, because it's not the same experience as going and eating in the restaurant and having the full immersive experience. But what's so crazy about this is I like good food. I do. I love good food. But I am not one that would ever want to I would be like, I'm not going to spend that much money on a meal or something. It just seems like, but now that I've seen all the, and I think it's probably pretty realistic because they have real chefs that are like talking about the process and stuff. But now that I've seen like the creativity and the thought and the work and the prep and the everything that goes into like just making the flavors come together in that perfect way, I think it's given me, in that way, it seems like it would be the equivalent of going to an art museum and seeing beautiful art or going to the theater. So if you think about it that way, it's not like you're, quote, blowing money on food or whatever. You would be, it's about that entire experience that you would have.
Maria did tell me that, Maria, she's in the Disney College program I'm not telling you, Beth, you know this.
Yes.
I'm telling the listeners.
Really? Is she? She's in the Disney College
That's
program?
where she's been for
I didn't know where
3
she'd
months.
been for all this time.
So Maria's in the Disney College program at Disney World. She works at Hollywood Studios. She works at Galaxy's Edge. She's in food services.
Yes.
Bring you up to speed on that.
Yeah.
She said that in her restaurant, in the back, somebody hung up a sign and it said, TV shows to watch about food services or culinary. Mm-hmm. And it had a list 1 through 10.
Because Disney has a lot of culinary interns in the college program that are aspiring chefs and things.
So there was a list, like maybe a top 10 list.
Yeah.
Maybe things you should watch.
Right.
Everyone said The Bear.
Really?
Like there was not another, Maria said there's not another show. It's just shows you should watch. The Bear.
That's it. Yeah. Well, because probably too, the yelling or the not yelling.
I feel like I've never worked at a restaurant, but I get the impression that's real life.
I do too. I really do, because I just think the intensity and the pressure and the personalities and I could just see it being a lot like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I don't know, but it's a great show. I think it'll make you appreciate food in a different way. It'll make you appreciate restaurants in a different way. It'll make you not appreciate some restaurants, once you've seen that. But then like I said, just the characters and the character growth and the people, it's a brilliant show. And I don't know, it's just, I wish I could, it does make me want to learn more about the people who came up with the idea and all of that, because it's great.
Yeah, it is great. So.
Yeah.
Well, now I got a show to catch up on.
Yeah,
I might just finish the whole series tomorrow.
No, you can't do that.
And y'all can finish it whenever you want.
Okay, well, we'll see.
All right. Wait.
Hey, are we going to have any questions? I feel like we haven't had a question in a long time.
We haven't.
It could be like your Mount Rushmore of pop culture celebrities.
Yeah. What celebrities do you wish will die next?
No, I meant like, never mind, athletes or whatever that was. Or what was that other question we asked each other there was something we asked each other about. I can't remember now. We talked about
we can do like what pop culture death bothered you the most, or whatever. I don't, like for me, the two that stick out in my mind the most is Tom Petty and Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah.
Like for whatever reason, every time I hear a Petty song and every time I hear a Buffett song, I'm like, gosh, I wish I could have seen them one more time.
Yeah.
And anyway, so those are like two for me, and I think probably the more I think about it, Hulk Hogan probably will, just because I saw Hogan wrestle a bunch,
right?
And I had mixed opinions on him. I've already shared that.
Yeah, it's not like you were enamored with him and he's your hero, but
he was part of my childhood,
right?
Like he was bigger than life. It's like he's in Rocky 3 and I'm 8 years old. You know what I mean? Like he's WrestleMania. He's all of these things and he's everywhere I grew up, you know?
Yeah.
And so he's in everything. And so I don't know. But for me, it's usually singers, you know?
And then mine will be C.S. Lewis.
Yours is C.S. Lewis. Yeah.
Well, how many upvotes will we get for C.S. Lewis? Who's with Beth on that one? Yeah. I have a feeling that this would be one of the ones where Beth loses, you know, if it's a competition. Yeah.
When did he die?
I don't know.
Were you even alive when he died? That's like saying, man, JFK's death really rocked me. And he died 10 years before we were born or whatever.
I'm just saying, like, I need to, like, he died in 1963.
That was 11 years before you were born. That doesn't count. I'm talking about people that were in your life that you grew up just like for me, spiritually. Like I know some people, you know, their heart broke when like Billy Graham died.
Yeah.
Or who's the guy that just died? I can't believe I'm blanking. Real famous pastor, super famous. I should know this. But anyhow. But for me, it was Mike Yaconelli.
Oh.
And he's the founder of Youth Specialties. I went to his conferences. I sat in Bible studies with him. Like, to me, he was like, I was in awe of Mike Yaconelli. And he died young. He was 50 maybe.
Yeah.
He died in a car accident. And for me, like, I'm like, when someone dies and it leaves me wishing I had more time to learn or listen or experience them, you know. So I wish I could have saw Petty one more time. I wish I could have seen Buffett one more time. I wish I could have gone to one more Mike Yaconelli conference. Like those are the ones that for me, you know. So it's that's kind of how I look at it. Is do I look back, and I always say I don't live my life with regret, and I try not to.
I do it for both of us.
You do it for both of us.
Yeah, I regret a lot.
But when I look back and say, man, I wish I had taken the time to go one more time, or I wish I had one more time to see them before that, then yeah.
Yeah. I just can't think. I mean, and like I said, because even the people from my childhood, the ones that I might have adored, like some of them, they just had such dramatic falls from grace or just did such bad things.
You were sad when Mr. Rogers died?
I mean, I was sad when Mr. Rogers died, but I didn't feel like, again, it's not like I didn't feel so connected to him that I felt like a part of me died. You know, I think about my first albums. Okay, well, like Michael Jackson, but I mean, Michael Jackson's gross. I can't like feel, I mean, not that I'm not saying he has a family and everything. I'm not saying I'm cold hearted, but like the things he did and the way he lived his life I don't want to say it canceled out those positive memories for me, but I guess that's where I'm going.
You begin to distance yourself.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're saying with like the Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
If Hulk Hogan had not done those things that we said, you might feel even more devastated, you know? And so I think that's the problem for me. It's just a lot of like, you know, if I think about singers or actors or actresses or people that I really looked up to, there just aren't many. And, you know, the people, I mean, I do have people, but they're not celebrities. I mean, this will sound silly, but like, I mean, I always talk about like Father Bob. Like that's somebody who had like this dramatic impact on my life that when I think about his death, I feel like a piece of me, you know, died then, or at least a piece of me that he could have spoken into and continued to help grow. And maybe that's just the difference with me, you know, just like introverts and extroverts. For me, I think I'm just more connected in that way to people that I have more deep, intimate relationships with, as opposed to people who are in more stardom, like speaking. I think I just get more, even though I say C.S. Lewis, I can read his wisdom, but like nuggets of somebody like Father Bob that I actually knew stick with me more than somebody like that. So I think that's the reason for me. It just doesn't hit the same. Like I just don't get it.
I get that.
Yeah. And I think it's just different people, you know, and like because I could see Maria being like, you know, she's got all these people like Ashley Eckstein or certain people, that have written or like said, or even some of the wrestlers she used to like. I think there's all these people that for her would be like, if something happened, that would be, like really hit her versus like, again, I just don't have people like that.
She cried when they found out they were shutting down the Muppet ride at Disney.
Yeah, she cried a lot over that.
Well, we have gone way over time.
Yeah, sorry, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were like, what are we even going to talk about?
Yeah, whew, I didn't know we had anything.
There you go. We're just
outside of
sitting
like
here
Western
chit-chatting.
Sizzling. I was bringing that one, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, next week I'll give y'all my review of Fantastic Four, and you'll give us a review of your trip.
Yeah.
And I don't know. We'll see what else happens next week. But other than that, this is Mike
And Beth.
and this has been Hey, Are You Still There?